Great to have you in today. So before I get to the Westbrook thing, and did you hear?
Spirited about that today.
No, you heard my takeaway?
Yes.
In that people are saying, well, it's history. That's kind of been your take.
Yes.
And to that, I would say LeBron's also setting history this year. He's going to be the first player in league history to go 26, 8.5, 8.5, and over 50% field goal.
Doesn't mean as much.
But those stats do
Not
mean...
the same type of history.
But those stats do mean... Because those stats really mean something. Like, I want LeBron to be a good rebounder. I want LeBron to shoot a high field goal percentage. Like, those equal winning.
Okay.
I don't think rebounds for point guards mean anything.
Jason Kidd was celebrated because he got 7 rebounds a game as a point guard.
I think he was celebrated because he's the best passer.
Jason Kidd, because you've been killing Russ for field goal percentage, low field goal percentage. Jason Kidd's first year with the Nets takes him to the finals, shot 39%.
For the record, I have never come on this show. When I mention great point guards, I always say Magic, Isaiah, Stockton. I don't put.
Well, he's not as good as. Although I'd try to argue, I'd put him right there with Stockton.
Okay, but I like Stockton because he shot a better field goal percentage. And here's my takeaway. So I've been consistent. Field goal percentage has always meant a lot to me as a broadcaster for point guards. Because what it tells me, Chris, is your judgment. It's not just...
But I can give you Isaiah Thomas, second championship with Detroit, 43% shooter.
But that's a singular year. I have a career of Russ being high turnover, shoots 42.5%.
Well, Magic and Isaiah both turned it over a lot. I mean, when you're a point guard that makes things happen...
But what about your assist-to-turnover ratio?
You turn it over. Yeah, I mean, Russ is a unique player. I mean, he's got flaws. But I think the triple-double is a huge accomplishment, as you know. That's what we've celebrated Oscar Robertson for the past 30 years. We don't talk about his one championship with Lou Alcindor.
Okay, so this is my point. So Oscar is Mr. Triple-Double.
Yes.
And in the last 15 years of this show, I've never had an Oscar Robertson segment. I've never once done an Oscar Robertson segment on my show. Now, and by the way, the audience has told me that championships, Michael's 6 for 6 matters. Anybody chasing Michael's matters. That is what
But how many people out in that era, other than Wilt Chamberlain, have you had segment? Have you had a Bill Russell segment?
Bill, yeah, it's because I have often said if Bill got the 12 championships and won 11, and he got the twice as many as Jordan, why is Jordan so much better than Bill Russell? Because the audience tells me what they really care about in the NBA. They do care about points. When a guy scores 100, we talk about Wilt once a year. He scored 100.
Yep.
So points matter. And the audience has also told me titles matter.
Okay.
That's the ding on Barkley. The audience has no interest in the triple-double because Oscar was the king of it. And I am one of the leading opinion talkers probably in this space in the country. I've never done an Oscar segment. And the audience doesn't clamor for it.
Do you know what Bill Russell's career field goal percentage was? As a center.
First of all, Bill was a defensive center, so he wasn't a great offensive guy. I mean, he really wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He averaged
he never averaged 19 points a game.
He didn't. So he was basically Dave Cowens with better length.
He was a great defensive player.
What did he shoot? 44?
44%.
Yeah, I was going to say Bill was a
career.
He was really an awkward offensive player.
So there are exceptions, is what we're saying. I can point out several instances. I mean, Allen Iverson, MVP, 42%, got that team to the finals.
And I didn't like that MVP.
Who should it have been that year? They won 60 games. LeBron every year.
Listen, you and I just
was LeBron even in the league at that? He wasn't in the league yet. Maybe it still should have been LeBron, right? No, but now
are you buying my? So here's my argument. In the last 12 games, Steph Curry's 12-0, and if you go look at Steph Curry's numbers in the last 12 versus Russell, I'm going to do this. Hold on, right here.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's put on some soft music. So I'm going to find this stat.
No.
No, I want to show this right here. See, this is my thing.
Put on some Kanye Westbrook.
Okay. All right, here we go. In the last 12 games, Steph is 12-0, Westbrook 8-4. Kind of unfair. One guy's got a better team.
Yes, thank you.
Field goal percentage, Steph 49, Westbrook 44. 3-point percentage, Steph 46, Westbrook 36. Assist to turnover ratio, advantage Curry. Plus minus 3 times higher Curry. Yet 99% of the coverage in that 12-game stretch is for Westbrook. Curry's putting up numbers that matter to point guards, is 12. This is my knock. We're going crazy giving Westbrook statistical alliance all the coverage.
Go ahead, Kristine.
Here's the stat that trumps everything and matters the most. The Thunder are 32-9 when Westbrook has a triple-double.
And the
so
Warriors,
when he doesn't have a triple-double,
okay,
they're not as likely
that shows
at all
you they're
to
not
win.
empty numbers.
Okay, no, I'm not
They
saying...
need him to get a triple-double
So you
like
want
every
him to
night.
I'm not saying they're totally empty numbers. His points, his dynamic play, his assists. I think his assist numbers are great.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, because he gets goosed a couple of rebounds and gets over 10, it's not greater than the stats that matter at point. We're
Magic Johnson, in addition to being celebrated for his passing and his leadership, and he still got you 19 points a night. We like the fact that he also got you 7-8 rebounds a night.
We did like it, Chris, but I'll tell you, with Magic, it was playmaker, leader, smile, passing, points, and then like the sixth was a pretty good rebounder if you need him to be. I never once mentioned Jordan's rebounds. What did Michael average as a rebounder?
About 6.
He's the greatest player ever, and he's half of Westbrook.
But it's like if I have a center. Do you ever think of how many assists a center averages? No. But if you have a passing center,
Bill Walton,
it's great. Bill Walton, Wilt Chamberlain, Andrew Bogut, not to put him in their class, but when he was with Golden State, they raved that he was such a great passer.
Okay, so this is
Mark Gasol.
Okay.
It's great to have a great passer.
It is super duper. But the 5 best centers in league history, none are great passers. Shaq wasn't.
Wilt averaged.
Yeah, he
led the league in assists 1 year.
1 year because he just got.
Well, he wanted to. He made sure.
But my point is, when we rank all-time centers, Jabbar wasn't a great passer. Shaq wasn't a great passer. Akeem wasn't known as a great passer. Arvydas Sabonis was a great passer. So we have never once elevated a center on passing, though it is nice, and we don't elevate Magic on rebounding, though it is nice. Yep. We're going to give a guy an MVP over James Harden and LeBron and Kawhi because is rebounding? I don't get it.
It's an incredible individual feat. That's what it is. And your team is successful. Now, if the team wasn't successful, if they were a 35-win team, nobody'd be talking about him as MVP. But the team is maxing out, playing as well as it can, and you're doing something we never thought anyone could do.
I kind of thought somebody would do it.
LeBron, you thought, but he hasn't.
Well, but he also hasn't cared about it.
Oh.
LeBron doesn't give a rip about that crap. He barely cares about the regular season.
Well, I think he.
So why should he win regular season MVP ever?
Okay,
No,
so this is all good. I got a lot of stuff with you.
All right.
What else?
You got some more?
I got good stuff.
Okay. Because I got a little something for you.
Oh, really?
All right.
It's the first round of this fight. You might as well just get the towel, get ready to throw it over the rope. Good to have Chris Broussard, and we were talking about Westbrook and the MVP. Wilt Chamberlain won 4. He could have won 8 if the MVP was just a stats thing, but Bill Russell once beat Wilt. In the year Wilt went 50 points a game and 26 assists, Bill Russell beat Wilt for the MVP voting by a landslide.
And that was when players voted.
Players told you it's about winning, not just about stats.
But players, some of their voting, like in the 70s, they voted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar MVP, and his team had a losing record. All right, so Bob McAdoo won the MVP without winning 50 games because the players voted.
You know why
players are all over the place.
Bob McAdoo, by the way, was just a stats monster. First NBA game I ever saw, Buffalo Braves, Bob McAdoo, Randy Smith at guard, long story.
He got a title, though, with the Lakers.
Yeah. So let's say you're a general manager. The ultimate leverage to me is this. If you were a free agent, Chris Broussard, a network came after you. When your contract was up, your ultimate value was that ESPN wanted to keep you, and we were willing to pay more. That's your value.
Yep.
Don't tell me how great a guy is. He's on the open market. Tony Romo was on the open market. Nobody give up a 7th-round draft pick. If Peyton Manning came back today, somebody would give up a draft pick for Peyton Manning for 1 more year. Okay, so if the GMs in the NBA today, knowing what they know, with every player in the NBA could draft again, LeBron would be number 1.
Yep.
I think Steph Curry probably number 2.
Or Durant, one of those two.
Durant, Kawhi, and I don't think Westbrook's top 5.
I don't disagree with LeBron, obviously, Durant, and Steph.
You don't think Kawhi Leonard would go way up there?
He would. I think maybe you put Kawhi ahead of Westbrook. Maybe.
What about Harden?
Harden and Westbrook would be those two would battle for number 5.
Harden now has become a more efficient Westbrook.
But he shoots 44%. It's not like he's lighting it up and hitting tons of his shots either. So you got 42.5% for Westbrook, 44.5% for Harden. I will say this. Years ago when they were both still on the Thunder and it became evident they weren't going to be able to keep them both and max them both, I polled GMs, executives, coaches around the league, as I used to do, just informal polls, to see if you had to trade one of the two, Westbrook or Harden, who would you trade? It was close, but the majority did say they would trade Westbrook.
But it did show because Harden wasn't even starting.
Yep.
That Westbrook even then had his critics.
But, yeah, and he's always had his critics. And, look, he's a little more difficult to build around than a LeBron. LeBron's just so great. He's on a different level. Steph, his shooting ability, his passing ability, that makes him a little bit easier to build around or play with.
30 NFL,
obviously, Durant.
30 NBA GMs today. Curry or Westbrook, who would they take?
It's close.
You think it's close?
I think it'd be, most would probably take Curry, but
Curry's really easy to play with.
The thing is, if Steph, and we don't really know the answer to this, but if Steve Kerr doesn't go to Golden State and put in that system, does Steph, we talked about it last week when they were struggling a couple weeks ago, does Steph go to this level? He was very good with Mark Jackson. He was an all-star. He was going to be a perennial all-star. But would he have become this? I'm not sure. I can't say yes or no.
I don't know either.
But I think that's debatable. And so, it's Steph's shooting ability just opens everything up.
All I'm saying this, if you're going to give Westbrook the MVP, am I wrong to contextualize it by saying today in the NBA, if you ask general managers if they could take Westbrook, Steph, and Harden, it's very possible Westbrook would be the third choice. That's just in guards.
But does that mean he shouldn't be the MVP? Who's had the best regular season this year? It's certainly not Steph. It's certainly not LeBron. I mean, you like his stats. Nick Wright likes his stats. His team is woefully underachieving. And if it's because he doesn't care about the regular season, like he implied today, okay, then don't expect to get a regular season award.